Hey there, it's Brittany, and welcome to the Net Zero Earth podcast. I'm so excited to be your host for this week's episode, where we'll be diving into the latest updates on carbon markets, global economic news, and all things Web3. First up, we'll be taking a deep dive into the world of Ethereum and Bitcoin, two of the biggest players in the crypto space. You won't want to miss this segment as we unpack the latest market trends and developments. And then, we'll be recapping the previous week's economic news, covering everything from the Baker Hughes oil rig count to the latest on export and import prices. Trust me, you're going to want to tune in for this one. Followed later by, we'll be looking ahead to the economic calendar and highlighting some key events to watch out for, including the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index and a speech from Fed Bostic. But that's not all, fam. We've also got some juicy updates on the world of climate and carbon credits. You're not going to believe what's happening in this space. Trust me, it's going to blow your mind. So, what are you waiting for? Grab your headphones and get ready for an episode packed with all the information you need to stay ahead of the curve. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more after this commercial break and a word from our sponsors.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Net Zero Earth, an innovative company harnessing the power of Web3 and blockchain technology to pave the way towards a carbon-neutral future. Net Zero Earth is dedicated to assisting organizations and individuals in achieving their decarbonization goals by providing cutting-edge solutions that streamline the process of tracking, reducing, and offsetting carbon emissions. By leveraging the transparency and immutability of blockchain, Net Zero Earth ensures that every step taken towards net zero is verifiable and secure. Their platform allows users to easily monitor their carbon footprint, access a marketplace of verified carbon offset projects, and participate in a global community committed to combating climate change. Whether you're a large corporation looking to meet sustainability targets or an eco-conscious individual striving to minimize your environmental impact, Net Zero Earth has the tools and expertise to help you make a difference. Join the movement towards a greener, more sustainable world with Net Zero Earth.
Hey there. Welcome back to the Net Zero Earth podcast, where we dive into the world of carbon markets, global economic updates, and the latest in Web3 news. Let's jump right into today's hot topics. First up, the world's main verifier of corporate climate targets has made a game-changing decision. Companies can now use carbon credits to reduce the broadest scope of their emissions, which is a major shift from earlier guidance. This move is set to galvanize the controversial market for green finance, and it's got everyone talking. Speaking of carbon credits, the World Bank has announced some seriously ambitious plans for the growth of high-integrity global carbon markets. 15 countries are set to earn income from selling carbon credits generated by preserving their forests. By next year, these countries will have produced over 24 million credits, and that number could skyrocket to 126 million by 2028. We're talking about potential earnings of up to 2.5 billion in the right market. That's a lot of green. But the success of the carbon offset market isn't a sure thing. According to BNEF's Long-Term Carbon Offsets Outlook 2024, it all comes down to the strength of demand and the credibility of the credits. 2023 was a tough year for the voluntary carbon market, with ongoing scrutiny and reputational issues. But 2024 could be the year things turn around. In other news, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is scratching his head over why the federal New Democrats are pulling back their support for the carbon price. It's a head-scratcher, for sure. If you're looking to stay in the loop on carbon credits and investment opportunities, CarbonCredits.com is the place to be. They've got live pricing, news, and resources for carbon investors like you. And get this, the latest global market research report on the carbon credit industry is predicting a massive rise from $398.4 billion in 2023 to a whopping $1,473.51 billion in 2028. That's some serious growth potential. Now let's switch gears and talk about the world of crypto. Bitcoin is still holding strong with a market capitalization of over $572 billion, and Ethereum isn't far behind at around $225 billion. These two powerhouses continue to dominate the crypto space, but there's always room for new players to shake things up. Moving on to the economic front, we've got some interesting developments from the previous week. The Baker Hughes oil rig count saw a slight decrease, which could lead to a minor negative impact on the stock market, particularly for oil and gas companies. But don't worry, the overall effect on the broader market is likely to be minimal. Export prices in the U.S. saw a 22.222% increase, which could make domestic goods more competitive and give a slight boost to the local economy. On the flip side, import prices also went up by 33.333%, which might lead to higher costs for consumers and businesses that rely on imported goods. Looking ahead to this week, we've got some key events to keep an eye on. The Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index and updates on export and import prices are set to be released on April 18th. And later that day, we'll hear from Fed Bostic in a highly anticipated speech. So there you have it, folks. The world of carbon markets, crypto, and the global economy never sleeps, and we're here to keep you in the know. If y'all are enjoying this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more after this commercial break and a word from our sponsors.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Net Zero Earth, an innovative company harnessing the power of Web3 and blockchain technology to pave the way towards a carbon-neutral future. Net Zero Earth is dedicated to assisting organizations and individuals in achieving their decarbonization goals by providing cutting-edge solutions that streamline the process of tracking, reducing, and offsetting carbon emissions. By leveraging the transparency and immutability of blockchain, Net Zero Earth ensures that every step taken towards net zero is verifiable and secure. Their platform allows users to easily monitor their carbon footprint, access a marketplace of verified carbon offset projects, and participate in a global community committed to combating climate change. Whether you're a large corporation looking to meet sustainability targets or an eco-conscious individual striving to minimize your environmental impact, Net Zero Earth has the tools and expertise to help you make a difference. Join the movement towards a greener, more sustainable world with Net Zero Earth.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Net Zero Earth podcast. We covered a lot of ground, from the latest numbers in the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index to the most recent import and export prices. We also got some insights from Fed Bostic's speech earlier today. Before we go, I want to give a huge shout out to our amazing listeners and community. Your feedback, questions, and ideas are what make this podcast possible. Keep them coming. I also want to thank our sponsors for their support. Your contributions allow us to keep bringing you the latest in carbon markets, global economic updates, and Web3 news each and every week. As always, you can find more info and resources over at netzeroearth.com. That's also the place to submit your own ideas for future episodes and vote on topics you want to hear more about. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more insights and analysis to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of sustainability and technology. Until then, I'm your name, and this is the Net Zero Earth podcast. See you next time.
You're my funny Valentine, sweet kind of Valentine. You make me smile, smile in my heart. photograph above.